Hi everyone and welcome to this video. I am making an apple cobbler with a crunch on the side. I'm starting with about 200 grams of flour and I'm going to add about 60 grams of oats for texture and flavor. Next, add in 200 grams each of granulated sugar and brown sugar. Last, you want to add a pinch of salt and then mix until combined. Because there's no water in this mixture yet, you don't have to worry about creating gluten, so feel free to mix it until you're comfortable with it. So I like to probably run my hands for about 5 minutes or so, break up those clumps using my fingers, those clumps of brown sugar, and then just make sure everything is well combined. Next, it's time to add 1 stick of butter that's melted, and then basically fold it until combined. I'm being a little more gentle here, so using a light folding action using a butter knife, and then I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice, maybe a squeeze and a half or two, just for some extra flavor. You want to mix that until it's combined and then add your second stick of butter. So I used my knife again to kind of fold in that second stick of butter, and then once it was mostly combined, I switched to my hands to make sure I was scraping the bottom to get all the flour that was stuck on the bottom of the bowl. This ended up being a little bit more butter than I needed, so there's one of two ways to remedy this. You can either add more flour to equal about 300 grams total of flour and oats, or you can reduce your butter by about 1/4 to 1/8 of a stick, and that should also help fix the problem. The texture of the crumble is really more important than quantity, so you want to make sure that you have a dough that can hold together when pressed and isn't too oily. Next, I am adding my pre-made and frozen apple pie filling, which is just apples cooked down with a bit of sugar, cinnamon, and butter. And then I'm going to flatten that out to make sure it's all nice and smooth. And then I'm going to add my dough. I like a lot of cobbler dough, so I'm going to add about 3/4 of my mixture. You can add as much or as little as you want. To me, cobblers are rustic, so I'm leaving everything in some large and small clumps. I'm just going to move my fingers around to make sure everything is in the pan and not too thick. And then I'm going to top it with some turbinado sugar for extra crunch and then bake it at 350 for 45 minutes. I have some extra dough, so I'm going to pop it in a food processor with a little more flour and about a cup of nuts. I'm using walnuts here, which I think will add a nice flavor. And then I'm just going to pulse it until I get a nice texture, which is crumbly but still can kind of hold together. I'm going to spread this out on a baking sheet, and I'm going to bake this also at 350 for about 20 minutes to get a nice crunchy top. This is at the 10-minute mark. See, it's nice and crumbly, but not quite golden, so I'm going to pop it back in for 10 more minutes, and here's the final result. So as you can see, it's very golden and very crunchy, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to leave this to cool for about 10 minutes and then set it aside to get ready to top our cobbler. And so after 45 minutes, my cobbler is done, and here's the final result. I know it's done because the top is nice and set when I press it, and it's nice and golden brown. After cooling for 10 minutes, it's time for a big generous scoop, as you can see here, and then just top it with your crumble if you want extra topping. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and make sure you check out the other apple pie videos I've done where I make an apple pie bar and a traditional apple pie. And if you guys like this video, you guys obviously know what to do by now, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Until next time.